everyone, welcome to our very first grammar lesson in distance learning. So exciting. Okay, so I'm going to scroll down on the lesson plans that I originally put, which is likely where you got this video link from. And I'm going to scroll down to here where it says Intransitive Verbs Worksheet. I am not going to click on the answer key, okay? The answer key is for you to click on once you're done and for you to self-correct and self-grade. So make sure that you're being responsible and that you're only looking at the answer key once you are done, or if you need to check to see if you're on the right track, okay? So right here, we're going to do our grammar lesson. We kind of left off on direct objects and indirect objects, so we're kind of picking up where we left off with that. So we're going to move on to verbs. So I'm going to actually, let's see if we can open this up so that way that doesn't keep popping up. If this doesn't work, it's okay. Okay, so we got this launched a little bit better. That way it's a little bit cleaner looking. So, transitive and intransitive verbs. Just like how we usually do in our notebooks, we usually kind of write down what these different things are, and then later on we just ended up circling, highlighting, and underlining. So you can do either one of those, that's fine. For this right here, we're just going to go through these together, and if you forget what a transitive verb is or an intransitive verb is, just make sure you scroll back up and refer to this when needed. So, an action verb that is followed by a direct object is called a transitive verb. An action verb that is not followed by a direct object is called an intransitive verb. Some verbs can be either transitive or intransitive depending on the words that follow them. Remember that a direct object answers the question what or whom. So, for example, the polar bears eat slowly. The word slowly tells how the bears eat. It does not answer the question what or whom. In this sentence, the action verb eat is intransitive because it is not followed by a direct object. Now look at this one. The polar bears eat fish. The word fish answers the question what. In this sentence, the action verb eat is transitive because it is followed by the direct object fish. So if you think about this, the polar bears eat slowly. This is describing how they eat. This is describing what they eat, okay? This is kind of a tricky lesson, but we're going off of what we left off before with direct object and indirect object, but we're going to practice, okay? And again, this is the reason why I have our my office hours open. So if you have questions while you're doing this, if you feel like you're not on the right track and you need help, let me know. Pop on there between 10 and 11 and I'll help you. Okay, so the directions say, draw 2 lines under the action verb in each sentence. Write T in the blank if the verb is transitive, write I if the verb is intransitive. Now remember, if you forget the difference between transitive and intransitive, scroll back up and look up here, okay? But just for this purpose right here, we're just going to stay right here because we're just going to be doing a couple together. So, first one, Mitchell repaired the computer. Okay, so first off, remember what a verb is. A verb is an action word, something that the subject is doing or the character is doing. So, what did Mitchell do? Mitchell repaired. He repaired, okay? So that's why this is double underlined. It says write T if it's transitive. Now, this is transitive because it says Mitchell repaired what? He repaired the computer. It's kind of something like up here where it said the polar bears eat what? They eat fish. That's why it's transitive. Now, if it said Mitchell repaired quickly, he doesn't repair quickly. Quickly is not an object. It describes how he repaired something. So if that were the case, this would be intransitive, just like up here. The polar bears eat slowly. They don't physically eat something. They don't physically eat the word slowly. Slowly describes how they eat. So try to make sure you're asking yourself those questions when you're filling this out. So let's look at number 1 together. The baby cried loudly. Now this is when I need you to use your brain, okay? Actually pretend like we're in physical class and I'm staring at you and I'm waiting for you to answer, okay? Number 1, the baby cried loudly. I want you to double underline the action verb. Now, you don't need to physically double underline this right now. All I want you to do is say the word in your head, or you can say it out loud even, what you think the verb is. What is the action word? What is something that the baby is doing? The baby is crying, right? The baby cried. The baby didn't loudly, the baby cried. So right here, this word right here, cried, this would be what would be double underlined. Now, ask yourself this question. Now actually answer it, okay? Answer it out loud or answer it in your head. Did the baby cry the word loudly? Or is this describing how the baby cried? Go ahead and answer it. Hopefully your answer says something along the lines of loudly describing the way the baby cried, not the baby actually crying the word loudly. Okay, so because of that, this would be what? Transitive or intransitive? Go ahead and scroll back up to the top. You can pause this video, look at the worksheet, scroll back up to the top if you need to. The link is on the lesson plans. It's right over here if you guys forgot about it. Right here, click on that and actually look at it, okay? Now after you're done, on the count of 3, I want you to say or say it in your head what you think it is, if it's transitive or intransitive. 1, 2, 3. Intransitive, right? It's intransitive because loudly is describing how the baby cried, okay? Hopefully you got that correct. If you didn't get it correct, it's okay. We're going to do another one. Marta finished early. Go ahead and identify the action verb. What is the verb? Marta what? Did Marta finish or did Marta early? Marta finished, right? So finished is the verb. That's what you would initially double underline. Now we need to figure out if it's transitive or intransitive. Is this describing how Marta finished, or is this something that's a result of finished, I guess? I don't know how to explain that, to be honest. Marta finished early. I mean, there's really no way to explain that because that's not the correct answer, right? So this would be what? Intransitive or transitive? If early is describing how she finished. Intransitive. Now, if it said Marta finished her work, then that would be transitive because what did Marta finish? Her work. But this is not saying what she finished, it's saying how. Okay, let's do one more together. Number 3, we climbed 3 flights of stairs. Go ahead and identify what the verb is, what's the action, what's something that you can act out yourself. Can you act out we? No. Can you act out climbed? Yeah. Can you act out 3 flights of stairs? No. You can point to 3 flights of stairs, but you can't physically do that as an action. So climbed is the verb. Now, ask yourself if this is transitive or intransitive. We climbed what or we climbed how? Think about it. 3 flights of stairs. Is that describing how we climbed or is that describing what we climbed? All right, we're going to say the answer in 3, 2, and 1. Transitive. Transitive because it's saying what we climbed. It's not saying how. If it said we climbed quickly or we climbed slowly, that would be intransitive, but it's saying exactly what we climbed, which is why it's transitive. Alrighty? So, hopefully you guys feel comfortable with this lesson. If not, you can rewind, try it again, and see how it goes. If you are ready, go ahead and start answering these, okay? I'm going to have these actually open. So let's pretend that we're going back here and my screen looks like yours probably, okay? I'm going to click open with. I'm going to open this with Google Docs. Let's see how the format is. The formatting isn't going to be exactly the same because it's a PDF, not a Word document, but let's see how it looks. Oh, you know what? That's not too bad. Not too bad. Okay, perfect. So we did these ones together. So you can delete these ones, or if you want to do them again and do that yourself, that's fine. So let's say that you are on number 4 and you are trying to figure this out, okay? So I know it says draw 2 lines. You don't have to draw 2 lines necessarily. You can just highlight. So I guess we'll just do this one together. So Carly sings better than I do. What does Carly do? Carly sings. So I'm going to underline that. Write T in the blank if the verb is transitive, or write I if the verb is intransitive. I'm just going to write it here on the side. I'm just going to do a capital T or a capital I. Carly sings better than I do. So does Carly literally sing the song better than I do? Or is that describing how she sings? It's describing how she sings, right? So I'm going to write a capital I for transitive. Now you can even make it so that way your answers are in a different color. So that way it's easier to grade. Once you start grading, you can do it like that too, okay? So it's up to you however you want to do this, but just make sure that you are going through these, and you can kind of go back and forth to the answer key that I also put on the lesson plan, and you can self-correct, self-grade, okay? And then hopefully you guys are doing good. If not, it's okay. Just go on to the Zoom conference and I'll help you out, okay? But I hope that you guys enjoyed your first grammar lesson of distance learning, and I'll talk to you guys soon.